coffee, then I'll go. Thought that
Welcome back to the Grand Columbia channel. Welcome again to Coffee Time Live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Missed 3 in the last year, so pretty consistent. Hello, Dan. How you doing? Coleman in Maine. Man, you're getting around. Getting ready to sell that house. Taco, fresh beans, fresh beans. Howard. Boy, you guys jumping in there quick. Good morning from Maryland. Where's my Helsinki dude? All right. Why am I doing Q&A? Well, I don't have a topic today. I'm sure I'll hear from somebody about that. Well, I lost a day this week. Completely gone. Don't know where it went. I really don't have a clue. Now, first of all, I got my stimulus check, so I decided I was going to stimulate the Colombia economy. I bought 2 things that I've been needing or wanting forever. I bought a new chair. I'm sitting in it. The last one was a hand-me-down. It was broken. It was really uncomfortable. It was a mess. And I gave that away. And somebody could try to figure it out. It really was a disaster. And I bought this one. And the other thing I bought was a TV for my living room. I've never had one, and it's been a little awkward at times. You know, yeah, come on in my bedroom and we'll watch it. So that was really an extravagance. Although I did find one hell of a sale on a TV, and sadly, it's a Chinese TV, but the installer tells me that they're awesome. That they've been around for over 20 years making TV components for Sanyo, for Samsung, for various Sam TVs, I guess, and that they're very good quality. I don't know. I took a chance. It was cheap, and I had other needed expenses, so that's as far as I went. Now, I also, Natalie had a friend down from Bogota who's trying to work out living here. And she was thinking about making and selling pizzas, but she makes pizzas like is typical here. And so we were talking about, maybe I'll show you how to make pizzas. I've been making them for 40 some years, and they're pretty good. Taco, thank you. Little love from Colorado. Keep up the good work. Amiguito. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So she actually had to run back to Bogota. She got a job, starts here Monday, I guess. Everything kind of fell into place for her. So she couldn't be here, but Natalie came over. And I took a video log, like a recipe book, showing me weighing things out on the scale and every step, so that she could, forward that to her. I'm sure we'll make some pizzas together. And what else? There's just a whole bunch of things. The TV delivery was delayed one day and then 2 days. For whatever reason, my week is kind of in chaos. So when Natalie was here yesterday to have some pizza, and the first time in my life I made pizza with pineapple on it. Oh my God. I don't know. I feel dirty. Her kids. So anyway, she came over and I said something about, I have this video that I need to make tomorrow, Saturday, and I also need to prepare for my coffee time, which Saturday. And she said, but today's Saturday. I said, no, it's not. Today's Friday. She says, no, today's Saturday. So I look on my cell phone and holy crap, it was Saturday. And so it really kind of threw me off. So, yeah, I agree. It's criminal. So it threw me off. So, we always have lots of Q&A anyway. And there are a few things that I want to hit because I get a fair amount of questions. So I'm going to cover some of those real quick. Like I've asked this a bunch of times. don't you get nervous before you start this coffee time? Sometimes I do. The thing is, I hate camera. I hate hearing myself on a microphone, which I'm not now, but when I watch my videos to edit them, I cringe. It's terrible, but you get used to it. I mean, after 5 years of doing this, you get used to it. What's the situation in Colombia with the third spike? Okay, Medellin is basically in weekend 24-hour lockdown. One person in the family can go out, but they can only go out shopping or whatever with your odd or even whatever it is for that particular day. During the course of the rest of the week, it's 8 p.m. curfew, and you're still using your pico y placa, your cedula number. So not real great. Cali is similar. Bogota is similar. Fortunately, here in Armenia, well, what's the extent of what we have? We have the 10 p.m. curfew, moved from midnight. Well, it was off completely, went to midnight, and then went to 10. And we do have the cedula thing happening over the weekend, but it's for department stores only. So if you want to go to a restaurant or whatever, you don't need to worry about it. And with me, I got my cedula, which is even number, and I got my passport's an odd number, so I can go any day anyway, because you only need one and nobody's really going to question it. Show me your papers. Yeah, I agree. So here's why. This is the reason people are a bit panicked right now. You've had a fair amount of the population that have been in fear of this. They're getting the propaganda TV. They're not getting it offset by, realistic statistics. And, you really don't need to panic because it's more dangerous to go walk on the street in Medellin and get hit with a moto on the sidewalk than it is, that kind of stuff. In other words, there's no perspective. But this is what had people in panic. Right now, there's, what city is this? I didn't write it down. I think it's in Medellin. There's 7 children between the ages of 1 and 6. I think 2 or 3 of them are 1 year old that are in the hospital. 4 are intensive care. 3 are hooked up to the intubators, the breathing machine. And so this really has struck people because apparently there's some strain that now it's going after kids. And that's really kind of, really got people up in the air over it. So, we're going to go through another round of caution. They haven't figured out yet that lockdowns don't help. You can't stop a virus. And all it does is create more problems. They haven't figured that out yet. But the new strain or whatever is happening with these kids is something real. There have been no kids prior. So, it's problematic. And I was asked about the vaccines. Best I can find out is Pfizer is available, but on a very limited amount, although there's supposed to be a pretty good supply coming in the next month. Mostly what they're getting, at least here in Quindío, is the Sinovac, the Chinese vaccine that's got, a 50% success rate. That's mostly what's going on. I think 2% of Colombia has been vaccinated. Yeah, I had it last April too. It's called the flu. It depends. Some people get it worse than others. There are some variations in the symptoms, like it didn't go into my lungs, which is why it wasn't real serious. But the headache and the where it messes with your taste, that's kind of unique to it. So I think I think you can tell between COVID and the flu, although they are very similar. I had it for 2 weeks, but for 3 days I was sick. And one day I was really sick. I had that kind of fever where, it's like you're almost hallucinating. So So no, it's a real thing. It's just way out of proportion with what's going on with it. Okay, I was also asked, how come I can't find you anywhere? I'm not getting my notifications from YouTube. All right, quickly, look at the bottom of the screen. It says grandcolumbia.live. Okay, everything's there, including this video that's live streaming right now. If you go to grandcolumbia.live and click on videos, you will see this video streaming live. It's also on dlive.com. There's no video stored there, but it does run the live stream. So keep in mind grandcolumbia.live. I spent the time to put it together, everything you could possibly want. Any kind of for contribution information, if you want to write to me, how to contact me, there's got to be 50 ways to reach me on there. Every video, blog, podcast, merchandise, shameless plug. It's all there. grandcolumbia.live, as in Coffee Time Live. So that's how you do it. What's the other one? Oh, if I made any final decision on a new home for videos? No, I haven't. That's an ever-changing thing. Raw garlic, oil, oregano, wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Don't forget the ginger. Hello from Switzerland. Howdy. Oh, Natalie's friend, I'll tell you, is from Bogota. She was living in Switzerland for a while. Going to order a mug ASAP. There's designs there, but you want to tweak them. But it's really simple. Just hit the edit button. You can put, like what I did on this. I've got my logo, but I got the Coffee Time logo on here. You know, you can play with it however you want. You can actually even upload your own picture and put it on there. But you don't want to do that. Okay. Buying things question: how do you buy things? Do you have access to Amazon? What do you do? Okay. Yes, I have access to Amazon, but there's a fair amount of things that they won't ship to Colombia or other countries also. Plus, when you go through Amazon, you're going to usually get a pretty good tax or shipping charge or whatever, and it can get pretty expensive. So I don't do that. But if you're a member of PriceSmart, which I am, and you go to the website ArrowPost, you can put in the internet link, you know, like up in the bar, whatever the link is. Like I'm looking at StreamYard.com/coffee time. If you put in the link, it'll convert it to what you're going to have to pay here in Colombia. And it's always, well, I shouldn't say always, but consistently way cheaper than if I got it through Amazon. So that's one way. But my preferred method, I'll upload a picture of Natalie, put it on my mug. She dyed her hair blonde. I don't know. People are like that, you know, they have to go through various changes. So anyway, my preferred method is Mercado Libre. Now, there's lots of talk on Facebook in particular about, oh, don't do that. It's going to rip you off, this, that, and the other thing. I don't have that experience. As a matter of fact, there was a vendor that I took a chance on, and I'll give you 2 keys there in a minute. I took a chance on, and he wanted personal contact. He was trying to go around the protection systems. And Mercado Libre picked up on it immediately, sent my money back, returned it to my account. It took it away from him. No chance for they were really on top of it, and I appreciated that. You can also communicate with them, which is pretty cool. What you want to do is use a verified vendor. In other words, go in. If he's never sold there before, there's a good chance he's trying to scam people, but they seem to have a handle on that. I don't think they can get through anymore, but you know, people are going to try. So you find a vendor who's got a record of sales, even if it's 20 or 30 sales, it doesn't matter. Now, I mean, Mercado Libre, somebody says like Craigslist. Well, not really. It really is more like Amazon, where you're going to have actual stores, storefronts that will sell product on there, but you can also get an individual person selling something used. You've got a whole assortment of things. And the other thing I would recommend is you want to do a search. Forget what it was. It was something just the other day that I was trying to find, and it comes up and it was 250,000 pesos. So I start searching down, and there was probably 100 listings there. And usually the best ones are on your first page. So I start searching down. I get down about halfway down the page, and there was one there for 130,000. So I open it up. It's a good vendor. He's got a 5-star rating. Price was good. I look at the description. It's brand new. So that'll show you the difference. I mean, it was about half the price for that item. So the key is you want to search through there. You will very often find something like, for example, a Fire Stick, that if you get the latest version from Amazon, it's like, I think $75 for the 4K with all the third generation version of it. And I can get it out of Bogota for 160,000 pesos. So it was less. It was less than Amazon without tax and without shipping because it's here in Colombia. So, good way to go. All right. I was asked about the airport, and so I'm going to show you a couple quick little videos that Robert took. I don't know if Robert is here today, but from Brazil. No, it's actually not the strain from Brazil. They're worried about that one, but this is something else. Okay, so Robert, he's been going to Medellin, but because of the lockdown and stuff last weekend, he came back to Armenia. He hadn't been here, I don't know, seemed like a year, but quick airport of Armenia. One of the terminals, but nice airport. They've been doing some remodeling. And the other thing is a flight coming in. Spirit comes in a couple times a week out of Fort Lauderdale. And we got a picture of that. Okay, what other questions do we have? You can get started if you want, if you've got any. Oh, I was asked, okay, you're doing some relocation assistance with people, but you also mentioned that you have locals available to show people around. What's the difference between the two? All right, I'm really expensive. They're really cheap. That's part of it. But here's the thing. Locals aren't going to have the same perspective. What I have found is that very few locals actually know much about the whole city. They know where they live. They know where they go to work. They know certain things. But a lot of people here, most people live in the South, and they rarely, if ever, venture up into the North. So there's actually limited information, and also they seem to be lacking a lot of history, and don't keep up with news very much. So when you have questions about why is this like that, what happened, in a lot of cases they're not going to know that. But it's more than that. The point of me, and why I tell you don't need more than 3 days, because what I can give you, I can do in 1, 2, or 3 days. And so that's what I suggest, because I'm not cheap, but there's a reason for it. And I'm going to give you perspective of actually living here. Now, 1 day if you're more touristing, but 2 or 3 if you're actually relocating here. I do Skype calls prior. I did a couple Skype calls this week, but the idea is I can save you from a lot of pitfalls and extra expenses, sometimes contracts that you can get locked in. You can't figure out how to get an internet contract because you're too new here. How can you get the internet? There's tons of things that I can clue you in on that locals actually aren't aware of because they've never done what I've done. They didn't come from Ecuador, the United States, and move here and set up house. So, finding good bargains on things, finding Airbnb or hotel to stay in until you rent, till you get your visa taken care of in the right kind of neighborhood. Because, frankly, that's one of the issues. If you're not that familiar with an area and you want to get a place to stay for a month, you don't know where to get it. You don't know what area is most convenient, which one is problematic. It's not always the best price that gives you the best deal. And so, these are all things that I help with, locals can't. Now, what happens is once I put all that information out, show you the preferred barrios, listen to what you're looking for and kind of put that together. Once all that occurs, at that point, I can set you up with a local to go with you to do such and such. Maybe you want to go to Salento. First time around, probably not the best idea to go alone, although, I've done it. People will do that. I spent my life traveling, and so it's not a big deal. But for a lot of people, it can be problematic, especially if your language isn't, all that great. So it's like, oh, you want to go to a Salento or Finlandia or whatever. I can set up a local. As a matter of fact, I not only can set them up, but I can say, make sure that they get to see such and such and such, or, things like that, because we've had conversation. I know the things you're interested in, and I can kind of clue them in. So you go somewhere and actually accomplish, see whatever it is you're trying to do. So that's, kind of behind the scenes, but I do that on a regular basis. Victor, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm getting to know you pretty good. Do you know anyone that brought a shipping container into Colombia? I know people that have brought shipping containers to Ecuador, and I only know of a single person who brought it to Colombia. It's not the best idea. I believe you mentioned something about tools. I'm not sure what tools you're concerned with. You might send me an email, maybe with a list. I can't picture that most things you can't just get here, and it wouldn't be cheaper than, having them shipped in. That's not to say in every case. Shipping is an option, but it is expensive, and it can really be, one of the things that can be a pain is it can be held up for quite a period of time. I've heard as long as a couple months in customs, which isn't normal. It's not typical, but it can be. So, unless you've got something very particular, very specialized, there's not a lot that I don't know of anything I can't get here, honestly. And I can't get here at, reasonable prices. A lot of things I can get way cheaper. Like if, for example, you want a lot of Makita tools, heavy duty air hammer type, you can get them here. You can get them used, you can get them new. Prices are quite reasonable. So, I don't know. I guess if you send me an email with some specifics, I'll take a look, see what's available, what kind of prices, and, then you can look to see if it makes sense. But, also furniture, washing machines, refrigerators, a nice, it seems to be a well-kept secret is Colombia makes a lot of products, and they make tremendous refrigerators and washing machines. They're the kind of quality that, the parents hand down to their kids, who handed down to their kids. They're relatively simple, bulletproof, I've got them. The brand I'm using is Haseb, and they're flawless. So, anyway, let me, do I have anything else here? Okay, I think that was it on mine. And we're going to get to the questions. Uh-oh, I froze. Bear with me. Man, I'll tell you. I don't know how to do this without. Bear with me. I did this once. I got it to work. Hey, it worked, Mr. Freeze. Yeah, it hadn't done that in the last couple of weeks, but I think I've figured out how to fix it. It certainly fixed it that time. All right, let me, here we go. It's Q&A time. It's time to start asking your questions. Remember, 4 question marks first, then ask the question. Let's get to the questions. Any regrets going to Cuenca first? Change your journey to today in Armenia. Any do-overs along the way? No, I don't have any regrets. In some ways, a little bit, but basically, no. I like my time in Cuenca. I met a lot of nice people. It's not for me to live there. I think for a lot of people, it gets old, relatively quick. It's lacking a lot of things, but it's a beautiful place. It's got a lot going for it. It's certainly a place to visit. But I've explained before why. I mean, I was fresh out of the hospital. I'd been in bed for 2.5 years. I was too fat. I had no muscle. I couldn't walk. I mean, I literally couldn't go 10 feet without almost falling down from exhaustion. It was pretty bad. And I hadn't been to Colombia in 20 years, back when things were tough, back when it was quite violent. It was the Wild West. So I'm thinking, and back then I was young and tough and no big deal, but I couldn't picture myself coming back to Colombia in that situation where I couldn't take care of myself. I didn't realize how much it had changed in such a short period of time. And so I went to Cuenca thinking at least I'll be close to Colombia because I love Colombia. I wanted to come back here. It was a dream of about 20 years to return, maybe retire in Colombia. So I recovered in Ecuador, realized it wasn't for me. And then I started, okay, I can at least walk around for a couple hours. I'm feeling much better. Let me go visit. So I go visit, and that's when I figured out that how much it had changed. So I made, I believe it was 7 trips over the course of the next whatever months, coming back to visit. Went to Manizales, Bereda, here, kind of my old stomping grounds, and decided that's what I was going to do. So, I mean, that was the evolution of it. I'm not sorry that I went there. I've got 250 videos or 300 videos. I think 250 videos in Ecuador showing the kind of adventures that I had there. So it was a lot of fun, and I want to go back. I want to visit, but it's just not a place for me to live. All right, what else we got here? Charles, can you recommend an agency that does the immigration work, all the paper, and let's face it, do all the work? Yes, they're out of Pereira. I can email you their business card, and you can send them an email. They don't really speak English, although I think somebody in her family does, but they're an actual agency. They got a storefront. They're flawless. I've recommended them to a lot of people. I've yet to hear anything except rave reviews from them. They're pretty awesome. I'll send you the picture of the video card with the email address. You send You can write in English. You send it in, and they'll tell you what you need. It's pretty simple. Groomy the Clown. Can you get food like pasta, garlic, and broccoli? Of course. Broccoli actually is pretty common here. I see it in restaurants all the time. Online, you'll mostly see it in like the pseudo Chinese or Japanese, but broccoli is pretty popular here. It's considered to be a very healthy food. Garlic, pasta, all that. It's in my kitchen right now. I got broccoli in my refrigerator. I got spaghetti and penne pasta and macaroni in my cupboard. I've got fresh garlic in my little garlic container. You know, all that stuff's available. All right, what do we got? Oops, Frozen and Mike. What's with the hand? Looks like mine. I had surgery last week. The hand. Not sure what you mean. I guess I just have naturally ugly hands. I don't know. Please make new video from the street 13 and 14. I really don't want to make videos of places I've already done, and I've done those to death. So you can go back and see those videos. I will be. It's not going to be for a while because I'm kind of occupied on some projects I'm working on, some things here in Armenia. But come May, my first trip appears is going to be to Chinchilla. And so that's going to be very interesting, and I'll be doing some walking videos there. As far as walking videos here, I've just done so many. It doesn't make sense to me to go out and do a walking video of places I've done. And I've hit pretty much everywhere in the north. Manizales would not have been an option for you after you were sick. No, Manizales was an option. Because the thing about Manizales, I assume you mean the hills. If you're on 23, like where I lived, from one end to the other, which is probably 4.5 miles or so, it's relatively flat. Walking was easy there. Now you get off 23 and it's kind of rough, but the thing is, I walked almost every day, even when it rained, and took my umbrella. And you can put a lot of miles on and not leave 23, and everything you could ever want is on 23. That's one of the nice things about Manizales is the way it's laid out. The way it's laid out, it snuck across the border. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about my illegalities. If you have ever visited Cartagena, do you know of or have any thoughts on the beach area? Thinking of getting Airbnb there? Yes, I have, and it was a visit. And my quick impressions are the first 3 blocks are basically upscale touristy, towards the water. And then from them back, it's real sketchy and a bit of a disaster. There's that. I think the fortress area, the old Spanish, fort area is fantastic. The size of it alone just kind of put me in awe. As far as the beaches, I mean, you can't really get a bad beach, so I don't think that's a problem. Now, I'm not a beach kind of person. The only time I really got excited about beaches was actually San Andreas Island. So if you're looking for vacation, I highly recommend that place. One of these days, I'll go there and I'll do some videos about it because there's some things that are awesome and very unique about it. It's owned by Colombia, but the language is primarily island English. The people that inhabited originally are essentially the same as Jamaica, same kind of lingo, and it was a stopover point for certain pirates. Awesome place. All right. I don't speak Spanish. Don't worry about the Spanish. Couldn't find Brussels sprouts in Manizales. I don't know. Next time you're in Manizales, maybe give a holler and I'll see if I can make it over there and I'll show you Brussels sprouts. I bought Brussels sprouts in Karusia I love Brussels sprouts. One of my favorite, a lot of times it's dinner. I love to cook up Brussels sprouts, a little bit of salt, butter, and just sit there and eat Brussels sprouts. I love them. And I ate them like that. I don't know. I was in Manizales living there for about 3 months. And I probably had 6 or 7 meals of Brussels sprouts when I was there. I want to be your neighbor and make your life miserable. Yeah, why go to the expense? You're doing well just from where you are. Great. I'll send you my recipe for broccoli, garlic, and olive oil with penny pasta. I got my own. I'm a pretty damn good cook. Driving distance to Pereira from there time-wise. From Armenia, we're talking about. Driving, maybe 25 minutes or so. If you take a bus, it's about 40 minutes, all give or take. It mostly depends on traffic going in and out of Pereira. When you plan on going, traffic can get pretty brutal in Pereira. Now, distance from here to Pereira is probably about 15 miles, maybe not that much, but time driving in Colombia is different than time driving in the United States. Nothing's a straight line. Well, in this part of the Colombia. Now, if I go to Cali, that's pretty much a straight shot, and I can cover in 4 hours. I can cover what it would take me 2 days in the mountains. What kind of berries are available? Which are cheap and which are expensive? Try to eat them every day. Okay, blueberries. You can get imported blueberries, kind of pricey, although I'd say they're similar price to what they are in the United States, which I always thought was except a few times a year, pretty pricey. But those same kind of fat, juicy blueberries are now grown in Colombia. And if you get those, they're quite reasonable. There's a vendor behind Parque Fundadores that every day he's got a cart with those blueberries, the traditional blueberries, which are those little bitty, more seco. They're not juicy. They got a bit different flavor. They're blueberry family, I guess. You also have blueberry wine sitting in bottles there. And so he's an access to Colombian blueberries. And I honestly can't really tell the difference, except the ones I would get through most of the year in the United States would be like these huge things, just the size of a fireball, if you remember those, and full of juice. These are about half that size. I mean, they're not mutant, but they're very flavorful. When we were in Manizales, Karusia was gone. What do you mean gone? It's there. I clarify. It's there now. Can you get the bitter taste out of Brussels sprouts? I don't experience a bitter taste. I don't know. The only thing you ought to be careful of is cooking them too much. Then your kitchen starts to smell like fart. It's kind of distasteful. You also want to throw a little vinegar or something acidic, or they get kind of the color is not very appealing. You want to keep them green, but I don't know. I don't find them bitter. Another thing that I love is artichoke. I love artichokes, and there's lots of artichokes here. Um, Also, raspberries are available, a little pricey. Blackberries are available, dirt cheap. Strawberries, dirt cheap. Um, what other berries? Oh, no dingleberries. What other berries? There's other berries. I'm kind of drawing a blank. Blueberry wine on my oatmeal. Great way to start the day. Closed down. It's open right now. I'm not sure what I don't know what you're referring to. I really don't. When was this? And what else? People that don't experience bitter taste also usually like grapefruit. I love grapefruit, although I find it a little bitter. And with grapefruit, it's real simple. You do what, when you were a kid, you put a little, sprinkle a little sugar over it and it's fine. But not all grapefruit. I mean, some grapefruit is not that bitter, but, typically, yes. Indian blackberry. It's, the blackberry here is actually, it was pointed out to me, and it's true. Like if you're in the northwest of the United States, you can find the same type of blackberry. They're not the kind of blackberry that we normally would consider on the East Coast. We look at them more like almost like a boysenberry. But the blackberry on the East Coast they look like raspberries, only they're blackberries. But you get these bigger ones. They're like double the size and they're kind of tall instead of more roundish. That's what they have here. Cost of a dental checkup, cleaning, x-ray. I don't know. That actually will be included in your EPS insurance. I would guess that it would be equivalent of about $15 or $20 just based on what medical is in general. It may not be exactly that, but I'm telling you that I'm sure you can find somebody that's going to be around that price. That's probably going to be the average price. Maybe it's where you get the Brussels sprouts from that makes them bitter. I'll try sugar, Charles. Just sprinkle on them before cooking. Yeah, sugar will take bitterness away. I don't know. Where are we at? We're getting off track here. Never put sugar on Brussels sprouts. I wouldn't think to put sugar on Brussels sprouts. Wouldn't make sense to me. Could have been one of those situations where I was asked and given the wrong information. So you didn't actually go there. Somebody told you that. You were given the wrong information. They're not about to close up any day soon. They're a very big national company. And the one in Manizales is always busy. And we got else. For Brussels, use a dash of maple syrup and garlic. Yeah, okay, I could see that. Except for me, I don't need the sweet to it. I love them as they are. They're not bitter to me. I don't find cabbage bitter, and these are really just baby cabbages. That's another dinner that I love. Take cabbage. Well, first I'll slice up onions, really more like rings, thin, julienne size, but leave them as rings. Throw them in the pan with a little olive oil, touch of butter, some salt, and then I'll chop up cabbage, throw the cabbage in, mix that all up, kind of stir fry sort of. Throw some soy sauce on it, and that makes a great dinner. If you want to get real adventurous, you could, fry up some bacon and throw it in there. What is this, the Food Channel? Yeah, I guess so. Well, there is concern about, moving to a place and then not having your favorite foods. And I'm telling you, in Ecuador, that was a huge problem. You can't get a decent beef. Now you can sort of, it's hit and miss, but for the most part, no. It's got this rank flavor to it. It's hard to describe. The best thing they have going for them there is probably pork. Getting fruits and vegetables there that aren't full of chemicals and pesticides and all kinds of mutant shapes and things. People say, oh, that's because it's natural. No, it's not because it's natural. So getting a good cheddar cheese, really difficult. I mean, it's a real search. There's tons of things that are difficult to get there. Particularly a lot of people that like certain health food things and whatever. To me, all food's healthy. Ice cream, definitely healthy. But, there's a lot of things and spices, you can find sources for most things. People say, what about taco seasoning? Well, you learn to make your own, so you put things together. So there's that. But you come to Colombia and all of a sudden, pretty much everything's available. And what isn't in one supermarket, in Armenia, for example, we have one supermarket, Blueberries, which is associated with Karusia and PriceSmart. So if I want the big block of sharp cheddar cheese that they have in Costco and PriceSmart, I can actually go into my local supermarket here in Armenia and I can buy that very same thing with this very same logo on it. I forget what it's called, something choice or whatever. And I can get Philadelphia cream cheese, and I can get U.S. pasta sauces and maple syrup, and all kinds of things are there available, reasonable prices for the most part. Once in a while, it'll be something I can't think of it offhand, but it's all there. Every kind of, I was asked about booze. I'm not much of a drinker. That rum bottle that I was talking about 8 months ago, I've had one shot out of it. But you can get gins from England. You can get tequilas from Mexico. You can all kinds of stuff, selections of wine. I don't find things here lacking. It does sometimes, maybe it won't, like if you go to the Olympica, it's like, oh, I can't find it. Maybe it's not in that store, but you quickly figure out where things are. Rob, thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. When I make my own recipes, I love them. Others, not so much. Make my own seasonings. Let me go back up here. I missed some things. I was rambling on. Whoa, missed a bunch of things. Is the connection between your building and the mall open and functioning? No, I'm really upset with this building because all over Armenia, the buildings have their gyms open, their swimming pools. As far as I know, we're the only building that still has everything closed. And it's not closed because of COVID. It's closed because they're saving themselves a ton of money by not having to maintain it. I mean, let's call it for what it is. I don't know why. Well, I know why it's not open. I just don't know why they're not acting on it. I live in building 1. The building 2 opened recently. That's where the entrance is. And they put up a new guard station, or they call them porters here, a new administration. And they're still using the rickety old ones, just kind of trashy looking. And they're not moving into the new ones. I don't know why. It was supposed to be a month before they moved in, and that was, I don't know, when did I move in here? Last September, I think. Maybe July, August, I don't know. It was a while ago. And they still haven't moved in there. Now, the door that goes from here over to the mall has a thumbprint on it. And until they move in and set up the new computer systems in those new offices, the thumbprint thing doesn't work. Therefore, the door doesn't function. Now, the original excuse they gave me was because COVID, there's no ability to man somebody there. That's got nothing to do with it. Now, if I walk out to the exit of the building where you drive your car out, and turn and go down the alleyway, there's a stairway that goes up, and you go up fourth floor. Big stairway. It's not bad at all. I can go up and not get winded. So, and it opens into the parking garage for the mall and walks through. It's basically the same walkway as the one that should be open, only it's 15 feet the other direction. So it is sort of, but it isn't. So I can still go there without the rain. Difference is you got to walk up those stairs instead of take the elevator to the fourth floor and walk straight across, which is like effortless. And it'll be nice when it's there, but it's not that big a deal. What is kind of a pain is walking up the side. That it's a 4-story slope, and it just seems to take too long. All right, what else we got here? Our storage facility is a thing there. Thinking of making a few trips with full suitcases. Sort of. Like my last place, this place, they come with, they call them bodegas. They're storage rooms. The one that I have in this building, I could probably put 2 or 3 motorcycles in there. It's pretty good size. You could put, I don't know, maybe 100 suitcases in there. So it's typical of the buildings, and most places will have some sort of storage. Now, if you need some kind of particular storage, they don't really have storage facilities like, unit number 373, or not here in Armenia that I've ever noticed. But what they do have are these little, what do they call them? They're like where a little tienda would be. They're first floor access, and they'll be gated, locked up like a bank, and they'll have a roll up door. Drawing a blank, and it's not bodega, but I'm drawing a blank on the word. But you can go in there. You can rent those pretty cheap. Sometimes you can get those for like $70, $80, and you can put a ton of stuff in there. Plantains, bacon, black beans, brown rice, pineapple, stir fried with filet mignon. And guess what? All of that stuff is here. Maybe Lauren can rent you space in my garage storage area. Well, my garage storage is a big, large, open garage. I've got a place for 1 motorcycle and 2 cars. But I do have room in my bodega. Of course, the building is reducing your rent since. Of course. Of course. Love the way you have decorated. Does Colombia need a COVID passport? No. How much is music equipment there? Well, seriously, what kind of question is that? What music equipment? I play guitar, and I've got a Loire acoustic guitar, and I kind of miss having an electric guitar. And, so it's been in the back of my mind. So I've looked around, and I could buy a Fender, I could buy a Gibson, I could buy any of the new recent, pretty damn good Chinese or Indonesian or whatever guitars, and foot pedals and amps and all of that. And on Mercado Libre, you can price it out, and you can find them twice what it would be in the US, or you can find them for half the price of the US. It's all over the place. You just do your hunting. I don't know what equipment you're referring to. In general, I would say it's not an issue. Good quality, normal prices. Yeah, like guitar amps. What do you like? Whatever you like is probably here. Drums. Jackson guitars. Funny you say Jackson guitars. There's a ton of Jackson guitars here. It's real popular from the JS20 kind of lower end up to some that are pretty pricey. The prices that I've seen, and I forget what model is what, but the range I've seen on the Jacksons here have run from 400,000 to about 1.5 million. So from $110 to what's 1.5 million? Help me here. Help me. $400 maybe. The most expensive I saw was a Fender Telecaster, USA made. Thing was immaculate. Had a few extras on it, and that was, I believe, it was just over $1,000. All right, what else we got? I just found the Karusia website, pretty complete with good prices. Can even order online. I doubt they deliver to California. No, but I miss Karusia. When I lived in Manizales, when it came to shopping, that was absolutely the best place to go. You walk in there, and it was like walking into Wegmans in the United States, if you know them, or Whole Foods, I guess. Wegmans is like considered one of the best in the world for grocery stores. But you walk in, and there's such an effort to make these displays just beautiful. They pick through the fruit. You never find a bad piece of fruit. You know, everything is just so good, washed, clean, organized, picturesque. And when you go to Karusia, it's like that. It's very cool. I really appreciate that. I play everything: guitar, drums, piano, etc. I play guitar, not much else. I played piano when I was like 5. You know, we had a piano in the house, and I just thought it was spectacular. I'd be banging away, and and I just thought it was, oh my God, if somebody could hear me play this, they would sign me up now. Are there TV shows in English? Netflix? Yeah, I use Fire Stick, and I've got a $2 specialized VPN that has worked okay, but you don't really even have to have that. The Netflix here, even if you get the Spanish one, it's not lacking much. I don't mean Spanish as in language. I mean Spanish as you have a Netflix for Colombia, for example, and it'll have less content than the US one. But the thing is, I rarely run into something that I couldn't get there. But I have access to the US Netflix. I have access to the Prime Video. It's actually I'm on a free trial. It was a free trial for a month, and for some reason they gave me a second month free trial. So, and there's actually not much there. But the thing is, I use Stremio mostly, Stremio.com, and I can get everything there, and it's all in English. You can sometimes get subtitles for Spanish, like if you got a guest or something. But some people say they run the subtitles and helps them learn Spanish. Doesn't help me. You got a rockhead. All right, what else we got? Renaissance Moan. What the heck is that? All right, let me check something here. Okay, now I want to show you, if I can find it. I didn't show you this morning, and I meant to. Here we go. Okay, here's our weather today. We got overcast, but blue skies. Temperature right now at 10:30 is 72 degrees. And slight breeze, of course. It's beautiful. Okay, what is it, about 11? Excuse me. About 11:30, maybe? I don't know what time it is. The clock on my computer has been going haywire lately. Oh, it's almost 12. Almost time to end this. And it still looks the same out, and temperature's still about the same. I don't know. Pretty awesome. Didn't rain this morning, though. Probably won't this afternoon if it didn't rain this morning. Even overcast, looks beautiful. Yeah, it's gorgeous. No, this morning I mean like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't, in the mornings it rarely rains. I have to clarify that. You'll misunderstand. You always said that it's good in the morning. I mean, it'll rain in the afternoon and up until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's what I was referring to. Got anything else? Any other questions? All right, we're gonna do the last call here. I want to thank you guys for hanging in there with me. It's nice to see this little community we've got built up. Looks beautiful. Gotta love Colombia. I do. I love it here. I hope we don't catch what you got in the U.S. It's just insanity there these days. And you've had more shootings in the last week than you had in the last 5 years. I don't know what the heck's going on, or so I've heard. I landed the snow on Friday. Yeah, well, that'll happen in Maine. Yeah. I spent a lot of time up in Maine. Beautiful, beautiful place. Not much different than upstate New York. Pretty much the same thing. All right. So I was thanking you guys. I want to thank you for the contributions today. I want to thank you to those that have been regular supporters. Some of you have been with me and contributing to the channel for, like 4 years. There's a couple people who have been here from the beginning, and God knows why they watched those first videos. They were so bad. People think Colombia is dangerous. I do want to say, this is going to be a surprise, but one of the videos I want to work on yesterday, which I thought was going to be today, Saturday, is the history. And this actually may be next week's coffee time topic. The history of Colombia, the violence. They've had bunches of civil wars. In the U.S., we talk about the Civil War. They've had bunches of civil wars going back to the mid-1800s. And not even talking about their original free from the Spanish. We're talking about civil wars. There's been bunches of them. And when people talk about violence in Colombia, they're always thinking about the drug wars, but it's so much more than that. There's been violence between the left and the right in Colombia going back to the 1930s, and it actually became a war that lasted 10 years, starting in 1948 after World War II. It was pretty wicked. I mean, they lost 200,000 people in a country that just doesn't have much of a population, especially in those days. So it was called La Violencia. And the roots of a lot of what occurs today came from there. And Colombia has had just endless issues of sorting out certain problems that tend to be problems in South America in general. And it always comes down to between kind of the right and the left. And neither are innocent parties, but it's a fascinating history. But the reason I want to do it as a topic is not really to talk about that so much by itself, but to explain or relate it to how the culture is today. It's one of the reasons the people are the way they are. It's one of the reasons that Colombia is as unique as it is. And if you travel much, you realize when you cross that border, there's something going on here that's different than anywhere else. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Plus, I got a video that will be a video. It won't be a topic, but it's going to be a very sad eulogy. I'm going to say my farewell to Somebody has been very important to me down here in South America, so that'll be coming up. And got you on Patreon. I want to migrate people off of Patreon, go to grandcolumbia.live and use that because eventually I'm going to cancel Patreon because of what they're doing with the money. They're putting $50,000 at a pop donations to Black Lives Matter because I guess they figured that the founders don't have enough $14 million mansions. I don't know. So I got problems with the, they take a big bite and they're using it for things I just can't agree with. So I'm mostly off it, but it's still lingering. All right. I've rambled enough. Thank you guys. Probably bored some of you to tears. And we're going to say ciao.